Hey everyone, and welcome to the Group 2 podcast on the Transtheoretical model. This podcast will begin with my personal journey of becoming vegan or vegan-ish using the Transtheoretical model. My name is Ellie, and I became vegan starting in January before I knew about the Transtheoretical model. But the process of changing my diet followed the Transtheoretical model to a T. After I talk about my story, my group members will dissect each stage of this model based on how I experienced them through my diet change. So I started watching Ellen Fisher on YouTube for the past 3 years, and the idea of being a sustainable vegan popped into my head. I thought veganism was a cool concept, but it never related to my life. Ellen's YouTube channel makes everything look so easy. She has every color of the rainbow in each of her meals. She lives in Maui and has 3 kids, has waterfalls in her backyard, so our lifestyles are very different. Nonetheless, I loved what she was about. Cruelty-free, reducing her carbon footprint, and most important to me was continuing to love food. I just didn't practically think that this could fit into my lifestyle. I had followed, fad diet trends in the past, so I just wasn't sure how this diet change would be different from my previous attempts. When I studied abroad in Uruguay, I ate meat for almost every meal. This was a part of their culture, as they raise about 4 cows for every 1 person in their country. I realized how eating meat made my body feel, and I decided I wanted to make a change in my diet when I returned back home. When I was abroad, I journaled a lot, so I started journaling why I wanted to become vegan. The process of writing down my thoughts helped me solidify my motivation. I talked to my friends who were vegetarian and vegan and began taking notes. I didn't want a short-term solution. I wanted to change my relationship with food. I wanted to eat guilt-free. So I made a decision that once I returned to SLO, my diet would become plant-based. So when I got back home, I moved into a new house and thought this was the best time to begin a new healthy lifestyle. I started with nothing in my pantry, so there were no animal products causing temptation. I wanted to quit eating animal products cold turkey, so I began my journey with some research on what to buy and cook. Things I considered were I was on a college student budget, I don't like meat replacements such as tofu or tempeh, I don't like fake cheese, so I really wanted real, whole, delicious food. I made a huge grocery list full of foods I did love, such as pasta, bread, fruits, and vegetables. I wasn't going to limit the amount I ate. I wanted to look forward to what I ate and be food positive. I went to Trader Joe's and I bought a ton of food. So I started cooking up a storm. I made curries, rice bowls, one-pot pasta recipes. I made food that truly filled me up and satisfied me. This led me to being more aware of how my body felt after each meal, and overall a vegan diet has decreased my cravings for animal products. After about a month of being totally vegan, I catered to this diet toward what my body needed. I added fish into my diet to get some additional healthy fats. With any diet change, it's crucial to cater to your individual needs rather than what someone tells you to do. I implemented daily vitamins such as vitamin B complex, calcium, and iron due to my individual needs. So we have learned that the maintenance stage is the hardest, and yes, I can absolutely vouch for this. Every diet I have attempted to follow before this journey has failed in this stage. So what I learned is that being vegan 97% of the time is better than never at all. I mess up, and so do a lot of vegans. I am human. The frozen pizza during this quarantine has tempted me. So does a slice of birthday cake and Taco Bell after a bottle of wine. Although I have found alternatives. Ordering vegan at Taco Bell, it's actually doable. Making vegan desserts, and sometimes I do eat the pizza, the real cheese and all. The point is, no one is perfect, including me in my vegan journey. I don't ever punish myself for eating. Instead, I empower myself when I eat vegan. I create positive reinforcements, such as treating myself to a fancy oat milk ice cream from Sprouts, or taking my vegan food to the beach. This is how I grew to have a healthier relationship with food. It's not about perfection, it's about growth and improvement. I found something I wanted to change and implemented strategies that would help me achieve my best potential for my diet. I encourage you all to do the same with something you personally desire to change.
So what we first have here is the pre-contemplation stage, and it's essentially the stage where exposure and awareness come into play. There are two processes of change that are highlighted in this stage, which is environmental reevaluation and consciousness raising. So what we have first is consciousness raising, which is increased awareness. And in Ellie's case, she was exposed to a popular YouTuber named Ellen Fisher, who made videos about veganism and a cruelty-free lifestyle. And there was also some environmental reevaluation that came into play when Ellie herself saw that she wanted to reduce her own carbon footprint and wanted to live a more sustainable life for the environment. But still, Ellie didn't see how she could practically put this in her lifestyle, and her previous diet changes were unsuccessful, and she didn't think that this would be any different. And so even though there's increased awareness and inspiration at this stage, there are still no decisions that are made.
When Ellie began thinking about making a change to her diet so that she would eat healthier, she began reflecting on her experiences when she went abroad to Uruguay, a country where meat is a staple food in nearly every meal. She wrote down in a journal how she felt after each meal to get motivated, and decided that upon returning home, she would change her relationship with food and adopt a plant-based diet. At this stage of contemplation, the individual is more aware of the problem but has not yet made a commitment to take action.
Once Ellie decided she was going to participate in going vegan, she began to take measures to make sure her experience went well. This is the preparation stage. In this stage, the individual has decided she is ready for the behavior change and intends to act soon. Ellie figured out what kinds of vegan foods she liked and didn't like, and made a grocery list full of healthy food options. This is all part of the planning process.
It was finally time for Ellie to make the change to being vegan. This is the action stage. This is the stage where an individual has acted upon their intended behavior change. At this point, Ellie began cooking many different vegan meals and was able to alter her meals and overall nutrition where she felt it was necessary. For example, supplementing with vitamins where they are needed. During the action stage, it is important to have people in your life supporting your behavior change. Having a family who supports your behavior change makes it much easier to take this step. For example, if your family was going to make burger patties for everyone for dinner, and knowing you're vegan, they made you a veggie burger instead, you will feel supported and more confident in the change you made.
As we know, Ellie is in her last and hardest stage, maintenance. She implemented stimulus control by ordering vegan at Taco Bell and realized it was doable. This gave her greater confidence and motivation to find ways to continue preserving this new and healthy behavior, such as rewarding herself with her favorite desserts and going to the beach.
Thanks for listening to our podcast. I think this model can be applied to anyone looking for a lifestyle shift. I think we can all relate with thinking about making a behavior change, but did you follow through? Try something new because you never know what will stick for you. Any sort of change to improve one's health is a good change.